Everybody, hope y'all having a good week so far. So far, it's been a good week on Bitcoin, which is great. So if you're looking at this falling pennant here, we have retested, and we confirmed a retest here, which looks really, really good. There is, I put 5 waves here just because I can see a clear, this is a clear 1, and then 3 is more impulsive, and then 5 here. And I said it could go up to about 30,000, which is, it's kind of right here. This would be the next significant resistance. So it's right about 29 to 30,000. Now, could we stop a little bit before there? Maybe 85 to 30,000. Okay. If this didn't just complete. Okay. Now, typically 1 is about the same size as 3. It can be a little bit smaller, can be a little bit bigger, but 3 is always just more impulsive. So there's still a lot of things that can play out here. The good news is that we've broken this high. Okay, so technically Dow theory is completed. So let's take this off. So far, so this was our last swing high. We've actually broken past that swing high. And I do want to actually look at a different chart just to make sure that that's happened on every chart. So it happened on this one just barely. Okay, it's literally just a tiny bit higher. So we get Kraken. Yeah, so the majority of exchanges, that's the case, which is good news. That's really what we wanted to see. So we came out, we broke out, we retested. Now, what could happen at this point? If we do not go up from here, there's a lot of different things that can happen. So let's just say we've completed 3 waves to the upside, which I really think this is going to go higher. We'll go into some indicators here in a second, but there's a chance that did just complete. Okay, after you have 5 waves up, you have an ABC retracement. Okay, so we could do, you could do a sideways C that just consolidates sideways for wave 1, or you could do something like this. Okay, and then you could retest this entire pennant again. Okay, so sometimes that does happen. It may not look like a big deal, but that would retrace this whole entire thing. But good news after that is that you've got wave 3. So wave 3 would be bigger than wave 1. And it would look something like this. That was about 60% from its low there. So this could be, it's got to be bigger than 60%. Well, that's not even a good way. We're just going to have to kind of see where this actually ends up before we do that. But that's if that completed. Now, looking back at everything here, the cycles are getting smaller on BTC. The percentage gain is getting smaller. And I've shown this multiple times, but I'll just show the last market cycle from bottom to top, just a couple of them. There's another one to the left. So this one was 52,000% bottom to top. This one was, let's go a little higher because I didn't catch the bottom of that wick, 13,000%. So 50,000 to 13,000 to 2,000. So 13,000 2000's like 20%, somewhere around 20%. So could this only be a 400% rally? Yes. The whole bull market on BTC could be 400% or somewhere around 400%, just reaching a triple top here. That could happen. And we're just going to have to see how big this first wave is. The first wave is going to tell quite a bit, and then wave 3 is going to tell quite a bit as well. So just over time, assets get less volatile, and you gain less money over time. They become safer though, which is good. So if you wanted to store wealth in BTC for however many years, you'd make quite a bit of money, right? 20 years or whatever, as long as nothing happens to BTC, which so far so good. I don't think Wall Street and all them want to end this game quite just yet anyway, so. However, the altcoins are just starting out like BTC. They're not $500 billion market caps or whatever BTC is right now. You know, they're fairly small. So those coins, like the protocol currencies, are the ones that are actually building products. And you could still get those massive gains on some of those. Some of the new ones, especially the new ones that come out, probably already in the market right now. There's Lunas out there. There's Matics out there. There's a lot of different coins out there that just probably came out that are doing pretty darn well or about to do really well over this next cycle. And we have to kind of research some of those to kind of find them, and they're very difficult to find. I can probably, if you had some charts for me to look at, I could probably look at the volume and say, yeah, this might be something special. And then look into the project. I just haven't really had too much time to go through all that. But there are some, like HBAR or whatever, that's probably going to do pretty well. But, there's going to be other ones that are 70,000%, like THETA was in the last cycle. And those are the ones that are difficult to find, but you can find them. Okay, so let's look at the indicators here. So this weekly hasn't closed yet. Good thing here is that it's approaching this zero line. This closes on Sunday. There is a chance that we are getting some divergence here. Let's see how this closes this next week. What we don't want to see is weekly divergence because it's going to be a pain in the butt. So this needs to break up here. Once you start getting weekly divergence, just like bullish divergence, we had bullish divergence from this point to this point. If we start getting it from this point to some other point, then it just means a longer term correction is happening. So the weekly, however, looks okay. I mean, it looks fine. It's still in overbought. However, it's starting to curve back up here. 3-day is starting to also get some divergence here. So if this starts doing this right here, then it just means a bigger correction is coming. Three-day also might cross here, and then we could get some divergence, some bearish divergence there, and that's bad news. So this is stuff that we need to pay attention to. Daily didn't cross here on the MACD, so it's telling me there's momentum is slowing down a little bit here. So there is a chance that this does turn around. But what I wouldn't expect to happen is for this just to come back down and then to go up from there. I think if we probably get back in here, we would probably retest, like just come straight back into the pattern. but I think there still is room for this to go up. Now, if you wanted to take profits up here on some coins, you probably could over the next couple of days and just ride it out and see what happens. Anything that you bought down here or possibly even around here. But I don't really see a point in doing that for me personally. It'd be nice to be able to be like, yeah, I took my coins off, and if we ended up back somewhere on this support, rebuying would be great. However, I'm not 100% sure this is done here. It can be though. So the weekly's probably going to be able to tell more, maybe. I mean, currently it's got a bullish engulfing candle, but it did get some strong rejection here. I mean, this is a pretty strong rejection candle on the daily. However, it's just a daily, so it's not that strong. It would be really, really nice if we just continued up. And I kind of would think before we started a wave 3 that we would actually go higher, just because kind of looking at like the other altcoins and then the Litecoin halving, I don't think it would. I don't think Litecoin would run against the rest of the market, and I don't think we have time to go all the way back down to start a wave 3 right now. But that's just speculating on one coin, and it's hard to really say. Okay, so that's really all I have on BTC. We can look at. I've pointed out that this was this really big wave 1, and then you had this really big wave 3, and then now it looks like that we had this really big wave 5. So that's what you should see here. I mean, you see it in pretty much everything. So, all right. So that's all I've got on BTC. Let's take a look at ICP. I think it's actually done pretty well. So I sent a video on ICP. And if you want to learn more about ICP, that's a great video, great place to start. Looks like we could potentially be doing some kind of inverse head and shoulders here on ICP, and then start to actually come out of this. And, I don't think this is going to go back to its old high right now. I mean, that's 100x from where we're at now. So I could see like a potential for a 20x maybe from its low. So coming back up to about $72 maybe, something like that. Could it do more than that? Yes, it can. The only way we're going to be able to tell is whenever we start seeing the first wave complete, and then we start seeing wave 3. And then once we start seeing these kind of wave 1, wave 3, then you can say, okay, so we're in wave 3 now. And then that's kind of where you could take some profits. And you're just going to have to kind of see where the price is at that point. There's not really a way to know. Boy, this would be cool. have a, I don't know if that would play out, but have this huge left shoulder, this big head, and then this big right shoulder here, pop this up to back to its all-time high. That would be pretty sweet. But adoption typically happens. You start seeing people join the protocol currencies starting in wave 3. So this is how adoption is going to happen whenever it comes to some of these currencies. So the protocol is kind of dead. Nobody really cares about it. But the team's still building, and then you get this first wave, and then you get wave 3, and then people start getting excited about the project. They're really excited about the coin. They see it going up, so they start learning about it. They start researching it, and then you have an ABC correction. People stop caring so much, and then you've got a bonus of millions of users during this wave 3 and everything. And then the next cycle, it's going to push even more people in the market. And then so on and so forth. So excitement drives people to learn, pain and pleasure. So if they're excited, they're going to be looking more into the project. If they're bored, they're not really going to be looking into it. And that's when you want to be looking into it, when everybody else is not doing anything. So that's pretty much ICP for you. And at $6, ICP is cheap. So I'm not one to, I'm happy with buying ICP on the way down and then just buying more on the way down and then just waiting. This went from like a 60 to $80 billion market cap to a $1 billion market cap. I mean, this retraced like 90 something percent. Like, that's crazy. 99.43%. That's wild. So a lot of people that bought this, a long time ago is saying, screw that. I don't care if it goes, I don't care if it goes up a little bit, right? So they don't even want to buy it. But whenever their friends are buying it, when it's back up here, that's when the people that were buying down here will start to sell. Yeah, I mean, ICP still looks fun. So HBAR, we'll take a look at that one again. I don't think it's really moved much. And just remember, guys, this does not have to happen, but it does happen sometimes. So we might get a breakout here. You might get a retest right away. You could have already retested right here, or you could even break up higher, and then something happens in the market, and then it retests this old low. Okay, it just depends how big wave 1 is. And the higher that this first wave goes, the better, because then the next one's wave 3. So, for example, like this first wave, boom, wave 1, that one was huge. So you knew wave 3 was going to be bigger. So boom. And then you knew wave 5 was going to be somewhat close to this size. So the bigger this one gets, no matter where it goes, the better. Especially if it's growing volume. So just remember that once wave 1 completes, let's say it's maybe even done right now, wave 2 can come all the way back to here. It doesn't have to. It can even stop right here. So it can just go sideways for a while. And then that would be your wave 2, and then you'd have wave 3, and then wave 4 would be, maybe it'd be sharp to the downside, and then wave 5. There's a lot of different things. But if this one is complex and it's sideways or whatever, this one's most likely going to be sharp down. So like this one here was complex, so the next one is most likely going to be simple. So this one was just straight down for the most part. And you see that pretty regularly throughout the market. I'm sure there's a coin that goes against that, but the majority of coins go by that rule, I would say. I'm taking a look at some. I'm gonna look at bone and stuff on my phone right now, or some of the actual other coins that we bought throughout the year ago or so. See if anything's actually doing anything. No, nothing's really going up on those coins currently. Okay, so let's look at ADA. And this is just kind of a projection if it's going to make a new high. Now, if this is a follow HBAR's pattern, I think HBAR actually broke past this little leg over here on the left. So that'd bring this to about 70 cents. And then somewhere around 70 to 75 cents might have a pullback, this little support or resistance area here. And then possibly $1 if it breaks any higher from here. If it passes this high over here, this 60 cents. I just really, really like this volume. The volume just looks really, really pretty the way it's declining here. So it's just saying that not very many people are selling this token. So there's a lot of people that believe in this token. Now we just need to see buyers start to come in. And there's not a whole bunch of buyers. There's not a whole bunch of volume, but this is also just one chart. So Binance is pretty big though. So we need to start seeing more volume coming in the market. Now, some of the new coins might do something like this over here, how we bottomed, kind of like this right here. You had 3 waves or 5 waves to the upside, and then you came back down and actually made a new low because of COVID or whatever. Now, there could be something else that happens, not necessarily COVID, but it could be war or something, something like that, some excuse that causes that to happen. Or people will blame it on that. It's just a bunch of fear in the market, but big money buys whenever there's a bunch of fear. Now, if this is the low here, I wouldn't expect this to happen again. I think that if this was to come up like this and then drop, it would not make a new low. No, it would rebound something like that. And you never know. It can just come up here and just go sideways. So I just wouldn't wait on a retest there. But normally before a big move up, you have a capitulation event. And this was not really capitulation. So Could we have some kind of spring and some kind of capitulation down the line? Yes. Doesn't have to happen though. Like you can look at BLX, Bitcoin's historic chart. I think there was one time where we didn't really, well, I guess this did capitulate here. But then you had this big rise up and then this just rounding bottom. So you had this Adam and Eve bottom. Probably a lot of people thought this was going to crash lower. And it just kept going up. But if you look at all these other times, you had capitulation. This was not really capitulation, but then you had it later down the line. So I wouldn't really consider this capitulation. So it could come later down the line. Doesn't mean it has to. For example, it didn't really happen here. And then it had a big drop here, but didn't really capitulate after that. And some of these other coins are going up a little bit. Theta is the only other thing I kind of want to look at. And then I think that's really it. So Theta's getting really close to breaking out as well. I almost posted that in Telegram today, but I don't believe I did. Been waiting on that for quite a while. We are getting some divergence on the stochastic. On the 3-day, doesn't look super strong though. Weekly might pass through the zero line. If we pass through the zero line, I would expect that to move up quite a bit. Nothing super special on Theta currently, really. We just need to get out of this pattern like ADA has and HBAR and whatnot. So once we do that, then we need to break this little high over here, and then we start Dow theory to where we start climbing to the upside. All right, guys, that's the only video, the rest of the video for today, and hopefully you enjoy it. And I will talk to you all on Sunday's video.